Hello guys and welcome back to TNT Madness. Today we are going to be looking at an anti-nuker wall, and if you don't know what one of these are, I have done one in the past, but this one is slightly more effective, or not really that much more effective, but it's a slightly cheaper and easier to build model with a very repetitive pattern, and I'll explain how it works very shortly. But essentially what this does is it stops nuker cannons from decimating your wall in one go. And what a nuker cannon does is it's a cannon that destroys your whole wall from sky limit to bedrock all in one burst, and this will make it so they can only destroy 1 or 2 blocks per shot, so they have to fire it like 100 times before they can get through the whole wall if you build this from sky limit to bedrock. So it is really effective if you have it near the start of your base, as when they fire the cannons they have to get through all the other walls, and then they end up trying to fire at this thing, and then they'll have to end up clipping something, or they'll have to fire the cannon like 10 times in a row. So it's not an invincible wall, but pretty much every wall you have is just a giant stall wall, so this thing is really effective for that purpose. So let's actually have a look at it. So what we have here is our giant slab wall, which is only too wide before you actually stick the water over the top of it. And how this works is it's like a staircase pattern where you have the water in between the slabs. So what this essentially means is if we go, like, let's say if someone's firing at this level, they'll either hit the slab and then go down, and then the TNT will blow up the slab, and then they can sand stack, I guess, to whatever height. But then they can't nuke your wall, because what will happen is the TNT will go either in this block and then it won't blow up because it's water, or it will half hit the block and then blow up that one slab. But the reason it is anti-nuker is because the way TNT works, or at least when it's slab busting, is it will fire at this level and then it will destroy the slab, but then it fires one block below, and since it's firing at the same tick, it will register, it won't have enough time to actually drop down to the height that's necessary for it to actually destroy the slab. So it will just blow up in the water, and then depending on how much TNT they have, it may blow up 2 layers, but most of the time it will only blow up 1 layer. And this is really effective. I have some testing for this, but I don't have any recordings for it, unfortunately. And if you want to test it out with nuker cannons yourself, then you can. And also if you come up with any like new sort of things that I haven't figured out about the wall with anti-nukers, then please tell me. I'll be very intrigued, because I'm very interested in these anti-nuker walls, as no one else has really done them. If you want to check out my other anti-nuker wall, there'll be a link in the description below or on screen somewhere, but that's pretty much how it works. It's very simple, because what it means is that they'll be firing like 100 TNT at least at firing at this. Maybe not 100, but they'll be firing like 20, 50, 100 to actually nuke it, and then they'll need the hundreds of TNT to actually fire the propulsion to get it necessary over here. So they'll be using a ton of TNT. So let's say they use about 500 TNT per shot. That's 500 TNT for this small amount. So they have to fire 500 to get through 1 or 2 layers. So to get through this height of wall, they have to probably fire about 20 times, which is not ideal for them, probably about 10 to 20 times. So that's 5,000 to 10,000 TNT that they've just wasted. So this is a very effective wall for that purpose, and the way I'd recommend that you have this is I'd have your base, some sort of regen wall, then your anti-nuker wall, and then you can stick whatever other walls you want, whether it be just general wraps or checkboxes or some other fancy crazy regen pancake wall or something that you have, then you can do that. But that's essentially how this works, and the tutorial for this is going to be very simple. So now onto the tutorial. A few things before we get into it. There are some situations where this is not the best wall to build it on. If your base is only like 20 blocks tall, then I doubt someone would actually nuke your wall, so I wouldn't recommend building it if your base is not that tall. However, if your base is going from sky limit to bedrock, I would highly recommend this wall, as it makes it like 10 times stronger, as it's much more frustrating for someone to fire at this sort of wall when they have built, like, let's say a 231 shot nuker, and then they get to this wall and then realize they're going to have to spend an extra 10 minutes and about 5 double chests of TNT to get through your one wall, which no one likes doing, but since we are the ones that are defending our bases, it is going to be very strong for us. So all you're going to need for this is some scaffolding blocks, a ton of slabs, and some water. There is nothing else you need, and you're going to need actually 4 blocks apart, but the main build of this will be 2 blocks wide. and you're just going to need one block in front of it and one block behind it to be full of water. So that means though you can place your wall or next wall in front or behind this, which can be one block in front or behind. So that's if you have your wraps, whatever it is that you're building, you can have those extra walls. So the first thing we want to do is we want to make sure that there are actually slabs at the very front of our wall. Is at the very front, whether it is at the bottom, it's just so that way it breaks if someone's trying to sand stack. You don't have to, I just recommend it. The next thing you want to do is place slabs in front of it like so, and then you want to go up another block and place slabs along like so, and then you want to place water along the back here, and then you want to then go ahead and place another layer of slabs up. Think of this as like in redstone where you're placing the slab staircase. It is essentially this but in wall form. So you just want to keep raising it up and then fill in every air block that is inside this too wide area with water. If you don't place the water, then it sort of loses its purpose and it won't stop anti-nuker. So it is extremely important that you do this, and then you just want to bring this all the way up to sky limit, and then you of course want to make sure that this is water, that the corners are watered. So after you've done that and brought it up to sky limit and then have some sort of defense under it, your whole thing should look something like this, and then, or at least the main part, it should look a wall like this, excluding the bottom. So yeah, that's pretty much all this is. I think it's a really strong wall. Some people may not like it, some people may not. I think it's quite a strong wall, and unlike the other wall they did, you can't dry shot it. But the one thing about that wall is that you won't be placing it at the front of your base. You'll be placing it at least 20 walls back behind it, and to get through those walls they'll have some massive cannon, so drywalling it won't really matter at all. So that's just one little thing about that. But anyway, I hope you guys did enjoy this video, and goodbye from TNT Madness.